Welcome back to another episode of the Micro Podcast on Podcasting. I'm Christine Blosdale, a podcast and multimedia coach, and today we're going to talk about on-camera confidence. Okay, so you've got a brilliant idea for a brand new podcast. You're super excited to get started. You know you've got the audio portion down because, well, you sound like a golden-voiced goddess or God, but now you need to tackle that whole video aspect, right? Because remember, as I always coach all my clients, you want to create your podcast, number one, as an audio podcast, but also as a vodcast, a video podcast. Why, you may ask? Well, because you want to get your podcast, i.e. vodcast, to reach many more people than you could with just the audio version of your podcast. YouTube is huge. As a matter of fact, it's the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the first largest search engine in the world, which is Google. So you want to get on video, you want to get on camera, you want to reach your potential customers, clients, an audience that you could never reach with just the audio podcast alone. So let's get into on-camera confidence and how you can connect with your audience, babe. The first thing we're going to cover is for those of you who are a little camera shy. In other words, maybe you're worried about how you look or how you sound or any of those things, especially in photos or in videos. This is something that's really important for you to get over in order to connect with your audience. Before you get started, you need to realize that you are an expert at something. Whatever it is that your podcast is about, hopefully it reflects something that you're an expert in. You are an expert. I want you to get that through your head. You are an expert at blank, right? Whatever it is. You could say, I am an expert at crocheting. I am an expert at first aid. I am an expert in anti-aging. Whatever that genre is, whatever your expertise is, I want you to repeat that saying over and over again before you start recording. I am an expert at blank. So for me, I am an expert in podcasting and radio and communication in general. With over 20 years in the broadcast industry, I know a thing or two about connecting with an audience. And so that's what I say right before I click record and get on camera. I am an expert in communication. So whatever it is that you're an expert in, repeat that mantra. That's one of the first things so that you don't have an imposter syndrome feeling and that you can connect with your audience right away on your expertise. Tip number 2, you want to look as good as you can, right? So when you're recording, make sure you don't have a lot of busy stuff behind you. I have actually a blank white painted wall so that I can put graphics right around there. And also I want to make sure that I have good lighting. I want to make sure that I'm wearing a nice clean shirt if I'm going to be talking to you and on camera. Make sure that you look presentable, of course, and that lighting is there. I have 2 ring lights on either side of my computer. I also have a third one that if I need to, I can turn that on. But with the natural light that I have from the windows, it's bright enough so you can see me. I don't have too many shadows. And actually you can see my eyes, which is the most important thing when you're on camera. When you're doing a video, your eyes tell a story. Your eyes connect with the audience. And so that's one of the most important things, is to make sure that they can see your eyes. Now, I wear glasses, so you'll see my little ring lights here and there, but that's okay. Now, talking about eye contact, here's tip number 3. You want to look in the camera lens. Now, I know this is one of the hardest things in the world because, like right now, I'm looking actually at the computer. I'm looking at the screen of me being recorded, and I'm talking to you, and I'm looking at how I look and how how my body gestures are. But if you really want to connect with your audience, if you want to connect on video with that on-camera confidence, you want to look right at the camera. You want to look right in the lens. Tip number 4, make sure that you are gentle on yourself. We as human beings are so critical of how we look, and that stops us. Sometimes that stops us in meeting new people, new friends, or even starting a relationship. But especially when it comes to creating video content, this is something that we tend to really we just beat ourselves up all the time. We don't like the way we look. We comment on our wrinkles or our hairline. I really want you to find that you are embracing yourself and be gentle. Now, there are some little tips and tricks that you can do when you're recording, and especially if you're recording on Zoom, that can enhance the way you look. And I wholeheartedly encourage you to do that. As a matter of fact, I have a previous episode that talks about those tips and tricks in Zoom on how you can make yourself look and sound amazing. I have that in a previous episode of the Micro Podcast on podcasting, and I'll make sure I'll include the link in the show notes so that you can check that out and learn how to look beautiful on camera. Okay, I think we covered enough today on camera confidence. If you'd like more information about my coaching, if you'd like to have me work with you on your confidence, please go to christineblosdale.com. You can find out all about me there, and you can also book a complimentary strategy session so we can work on your goals, find out what it is that you need help on, and get you podcasting and vodcasting. Thanks again for joining me on the Micro Podcast on podcasting. Until next time, I'm Christine Blosdale. Happy podcasting.